Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today our guest is Isha. Isha, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you so much, Qasim. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. So Isha, can you let us know a little bit about your business, what you do, and where you live?
Yeah, so my name is Aicha Choudhuri. You can call me AC for an easier time with a long name, but thank you so much for having me. I am basically the co-founder of Inner Joy Education, as well as the author and publisher of I Am of Two Minds, a journaling book aiming to help both youth and adults through navigating self-development and achieving optimal fulfillment in life. I started Inner Joy, or co-founded it, just over a year ago, and we're in the business of educating children as well as helping educators build emotional resilience and help raise much more regulated and happier children. I live in Wisconsin with my husband and 3 children, and it's been a journey of a lot of self-discovery. A lot of the work in entrepreneurship is about you also discovering what you really need to work on. So it's been a pleasure to work on something so meaningful.
Awesome. So obviously this is one of the most important thing that you are doing. So even for giving some education, there is a requirement of spreading awareness about the education. So I'm not sure how you are managing this thing at your side.
I think one of my mottos when it comes to entrepreneurship is just to do it. One of the hardest things is executing on ideas. The ideas can be simple, can be complicated, but it's actually going out there and starting to explore and experiment what actually resonates with people. That is what we're building really, really meaningful and needed. And we've been going through an omni-channel strategy to speak to our target audience. And we're also learning, where is our target audience today? Is it on TikTok or is it at conferences? As the landscape and the behavior of consumers change. I personally don't see the user of Inner Joy as a consumer. I see them as a seeker. We're also seeking to help them. And when they meet us, it's an instant click where this is work I need. This is something I've been looking for. So in the simple terms, we've been going to, multiple conferences where we can meet with principals, superintendents, teachers, parents, school boards, counselors, everywhere where we know somebody is working with children directly. And that's really helping us. First, number one challenge for an entrepreneur with a new company or a new idea is actually the market fit. Am I making this product in a way that clicks with consumers? Am I making this product that actually is easy to find, but also easy to use so that it adds value? And so being a young company, we've just been in the market for 13 months. This is our number one goal, is to build a product that's sticky, that's easy, that elegant solution that really helps people without too much of a learning curve, especially within a field that requires a level of a skill set we personally don't expect teachers to have or educators to have. They're not psychologists. They are there to work on the cognitive abilities of children. But we're advocating that alongside the cognitive abilities of children, very, very crucial that we build the whole child, their mind, their spirit, and their physiology to respond to the learning. So with our work, we're aimed to make this whole curriculum, this whole product, an extremely low lift for educators, so they don't feel like they need to climb another mountain, learn something new. They can do what they do best, which is teach, but also enrich it with programming and a product that can help them prime the children in many ways to be even better, more curious, more joyful, and more ready to absorb a lot of the knowledge that they are being exposed to.
Awesome. So in this whole scenario, do you use the social media and the digital marketing as well? Because again, in your case, I'm not sure if the ones who are educating the children, like maybe the principals and other organizations, I'm not sure if they respond back on the social media, or in case of digital marketing, I believe you reach them offline as well. So how this mix and match is working?
Well, the simple answer to me is that that superintendent, that principal, that teacher is also a human being. And so everybody is on Instagram or on Facebook or on X or on Threads, or LinkedIn. They're human beings. And so when you strip away the title, you're going to see a personality that matches most humans. We all go to the grocery stores, we all go to the parks, we all read the news or watch the news, and we all have some social media account because we need to connect with our families, right? And so it's a question of bandwidth and budget more than a question, should we be on it? We most definitely should be on it. But you also think about, you have the end user. I think one of the most challenging things when it comes to businesses in education who are B2B, pure SaaS, is that the user is not the decision maker. And so there are two purposes for the marketing. The grassroots marketing, which is the social media marketing, the Facebook groups, the free education that you have to do because it's really sacred work that if you can give it away for free, you have to. That's awareness. That's getting the brand familiarity that when the principal who actually makes a decision, or the district manager, or the CEO, or the CFO, it changes basically based on the company or the institute. When they propose this new brand or company, the teachers and the users will be like, yeah, I've seen them, I've heard of them, they're great. I've received their free materials through a newsletter, and I've also seen their reels on TikTok, or I noticed that they use this on Instagram. Oh, let me go follow them. So there is a little bit of a push and pull strategy when it comes to marketing. So for sure, I think it's important that both are done because they achieve different goals. The question or the dilemma most founders would face is, how many hours a day do I have, and how much of a budget do I want to focus my energy on doing reels? And that stuff takes time and also takes resources. So for sure, if you can do both, they achieve very different goals and they work together to promote the business.
Exactly. So I'm curious, I'm not sure if even you do have competitors, but how you got this idea? What was the biggest inspiration behind to start this business?
That's a really good question. I didn't just wake up one day and said, I want to write curriculum, or I want to launch a company that teaches children, emotional resilience and joy and fulfillment. It was a very peculiar, I would say, turn of events because I was in corporate America for 6 years in the UK in marketing and product management, and mostly really working with global teams to bring global to local solutions, basically, as a product manager. And it was in the health and safety industry, and it was in very, very different automotive and aerospace. It was very different, very different. And then a few years later, I moved to the US from the UK, and I started volunteering for a lot of nonprofits who are serving underserved communities. And that for me started to move something. I'm like, wow, these incredible human beings are just, there's a whole nonprofit industry that I had not been. Of course, I knew of nonprofits and, you would donate and so on, but you've never worked in them or with those people. And you just discover this selflessness that people have, that actually they make very little and they dedicate tens of years helping a specific population. That created something for me. That really moved something in my heart. And a few years of volunteering, I joined my first startup by accident again. I was a consultant at the American Dental Association, leading promoting women in dentistry as leaders, and I got one of the dentists, her husband had just founded a company which is AI powered furniture rental. She said, it would be great. So I joined him as VP of sales and marketing. And that was my first experience truly 7 to 8 years ago in entrepreneurship. And it was a big eye opener. You do everything under the sun as an entrepreneur. I mean, I was doing sales calls. I was doing marketing. I was building customer service desks. I learned Zendex and HubSpot and all sorts of little tools that I didn't have to because Salesforce back then was a dinosaur, right? But it was the only thing. So I'm like, wow, this is cool, fast-paced. And reflecting back, I didn't know I loved it so much. Only until recently that I was diagnosed with ADHD that I knew I loved that. I love the fast pace. I love the different tasks at the same time. My brain can handle that. And I'm like, wow, I was so bored, in different settings with long-term projects, these quick wins with entrepreneurship. You have to be fast. I love that. I'm like, this is my place. So anyway, fast forward, I didn't stay long in that company. I needed something different. And the company had moved to SF from Chicago So the next company was when I started to feel, okay, it's starting to click. It was an after school program for children from New York, and they were looking to expand virtually because COVID had just hit. So I started working one-on-one with children myself, and I started coaching, and I started building curriculum and programming. And I noticed that these financially privileged children whose parents are paying hundreds of dollars for them to learn about cryptocurrency and CRISPR and entrepreneurship and all these high-tech things because they want their child to have the edge. These children need something far more important and deeper. They need emotional privilege. They need confidence. They need that level of connectedness and belonging. So I started writing my own emotional intelligence curriculum, and I hosted a group called the Supergirls because I wanted to encourage more girls into STEM. That experience opened my eyes to my passion. And so 4.5 years, one of the parents in that program who ran a company called Open to Joy, and she focuses on emotional intelligence crafting that sells everywhere, Target and so on. She reached out because she wanted to learn more about after school programs, and that's how we clicked. Started working together, and then we co-founded Inner Joy. So very strange. I don't think it was like, born to do this day one. It was just follow your passion. I followed what I loved in the moment. And then one event after another, kind of like you're just following the signs on the highway, like take this exit, then and then you don't really know the final destination. And I don't really know the final destination with Inner Joy. I just know that it's a beautiful mission and product, and we'll see where it goes next.
Well, awesome. That's great. So in terms of your short-term goals, what you are looking for to do, because I believe this is something unique that you're doing, and like the emotional resilience for the kids. I don't think so that many of the institutions are focusing on these things, and so I'm not sure like what you are going to do in your short-term goals, maybe in next 6 months. Are you going to promote it more, or maybe you do have some expansion plans?
Yeah, so the American Pediatric Association has declared a mental health crisis in the US 2021. So suicide is the leading killer of teenagers and children under 17 today. That crisis is unfortunately only going to get worse because we're not regulating social media, and we're not providing resources for children to build their self-worth and self-esteem and self-love and these crucial coping skills from within. Our children are relying more and more on external validation. How many friends like me? How many likes do I have on social media? More and more. And the crisis is only going to get worse, unfortunately. So our short term in the next 6 months is to publish our first white paper. We've been partnering with different colleges. So we're publishing our first white paper. We're going after raising our first series. We've just been bootstrapping pre-seed money right now. And the reason we're doing that is because we've piloted enough to now have a very, very strong formula for how this needs to be built and how we make a product that's not just another product that sits on the shelf in the classrooms. It becomes a true transformational tool for teachers. It's adaptive, it's responsive, and it knows the child. And so that's the next 6 months, is to turn the knowledge that we've built into a campaign to fundraise for the company. And once we do that, then the next 2 to 3 years are going to be about really building the product and full-blown marketing to get into as many institutions as possible and schools as possible so we can reach as many children as possible.
Well, that's great. That's a great thing. Awesome. So then, Aisha, what would be your biggest piece of advice for other entrepreneurs? And because you are already doing this, so I will ask you for one advice for the kids as well, the children as well, because obviously this is one of your strengths. So yeah.
Wow. I don't think I have enough experience to really give advice, but from my own little limited experience the last 10 years, I would say just don't give up. In the sense, not don't give up on the idea, don't give up on yourself. That I would say, especially to those who are struggling to prioritize, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't have the luxury to just do the business. They have to, it's a side hustle. They have a full-time job while doing this. So what I would say, my advice is remember that you are the blueprint, you are the business idea, you are the execution, not the business plan. So the most important thing is to prioritize yourself, prioritize your belief in yourself, surround yourself with people who support you, who believe in you, that when you want to throw in the towel and say this sucks, this doesn't work, the money's not coming in, they'll remind you for the why you did it and stick it out, because you never know who's listening. You never know who's going to benefit from it. And get in front of people who will resonate with your message, and just practice your pitch and practice selling it, and, sell before you're ready. That's the other thing, is don't give up on yourself and sell before you're ready. Don't wait. Just do. Live in your head thinking that I'm going to perfect this before I go out. You got to do, because momentum responds to action. So the more you get out there, the more you do, the more you're going to get feedback, the more you're going to, in many ways, seek rejection, because the more no's you get, there is a yes coming your way. And so a lot of people will start to give up once they get a no and a no and a no. No is just sharpening the knife, in my opinion. No is just sharpening you. No is just giving you feedback that you need to change something. And when people say no, to ask why. Why? What can I change? Because that leaves a really strong impression about you, and maybe they'll think of you next time. So I would say that for me is the biggest thing, is to believe in yourself first, prioritize yourself, surround yourself with the right people, look for rejections, look for the no's, because they're just feedback. They're not close the door, you're not good at this, it's just feedback.
That's
and it's hard, so it's not like it's not like this is the perfect formula and everything is going to work out. There's days that are going to be bad, and those are just what they are, bad days, and there's going to be better days. So I would say just the resilience to keep going is very crucial.
Got it. Awesome. Well, Aisha, it was really nice talking to you. At the end, can you please let our viewers how they can reach you, and you can share your website or social media handles, whatever you want to.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to write to me or get in touch, just use my email or my LinkedIn. Aisha, if you look me up, Aicha Choudhuri, or Aisha at innerjoyede.com. You'll find me on LinkedIn. If you Google me, you'll find me. And I'm excited to hear from people who found this useful, or if they want to just have a conversation about Inner Joy as well and the work that I do. That would be very much welcome too.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you, Aisha. Thanks for joining us today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and you are doing really good. I wish you best of luck.
Thank you, Qasim. I appreciate you, and have a great day.